Hello and welcome to another episode of Serial Trash Talking. As always, it's DA and Rob, and we're going to be talking today about apple cinnamon flavored Cheerios. We're going to be talking about the NFL, the NBA, the NCAA, and finishing off with the CrossFit Games. So let's jump into it.
It's not a puff and it's not a flake. It's more than both of those.
The greatest name in cereals.
Perfect, great DA. Always great to be back, my man. Apple cinnamon, actually pretty excited. Morning beats. Let's get this smell test going, my man. Don't forget our 5 criteria, guys. Smell test, dry test, flavor integration, structural integrity, and moorishness. Always a treat. Cinnamon scrolly or not cinnamon scrolly?
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the smell of it reminds me of like Uncle Toby's like apple cinnamon dry oatmeal packets.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I'm getting it from.
Yeah. And they were a favorite.
Easy
It was
work,
pretty.
that one.
The dry test is pretty good.
Cheerios now that, eh?
It's interesting. Like the smell of it is like there's quite a strong cinnamon smell, but the dry test it's way more appley. It's quite interesting.
I'm with you. Do you get the? I know. Have you ever seen the cinnamon? The cinnamon test that they do with like the actual spice. It almost feels like I don't know if my mouth's dry, or is the cinnamon rubbing off my tongue and making my mouth dry? It tastes more appley. I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm eating a bloody bowl of cinnamon, all right?
Yeah. Well, it actually, yeah. It also reminds me of like this Turkish tea that my mum used to buy. It was just an apple Turkish tea. It was awesome. But I'm excited. I'm excited to try these with a bit of milk.
It'll be fair to say that apple and cinnamon are some pretty good flavors to try and pair together, right?
Yeah.
Whether you like mate, tea, muffins, cereal, porridge.
It's the healthy chocolate and peanut butter.
Ooh.
But,
be hard to
as I said before, as we were warming up, I'm hoping that these taste similar to the muffin break, apple and cinnamon muffins, because they were my go-to as a child. So. I'm enjoying them.
Nothing's too overpowering. No, you don't get too much apple, too much cinnamon. Not enough. I don't feel a lot of either. Like not powering through, you know?
Yeah. I think it's quite well balanced.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was one of our main concerns around the cereal was it going to be way too much apple or was it going to be way too much cinnamon? I think they've really balanced it out well.
Oddly enough, I'm like, mate, do we need to get Cheerios original on this? It's like, are we having a bowl of Cheerios original?
I mean, this is the perfect thing after a hard Easter weekend, isn't it? All that chocolate and all that chocolate.
It feels like we're coming back. We're getting back on track.
Yeah.
The body's taking a hit. Guys, can we just have some pretty standard cereal? Get some apples in there.
So Rob, I mean, not a lot has been happening in the NFL. I mean, you've got the foregone conclusion that the Bucks are probably going to run it back. They've got all their starters back again. The first time that's ever happened for a Super Bowl champion. I think the big talking point we see at the moment, and I don't particularly want to get into it, is the Deshaun Watson and what's coming out there. I think that regardless of the outcome, it's only bad for the organization.
Bad for the organization, bad for the play, bad for the league probably. Where there's smoke, there's fire. ADA being in 20 plus cases is not ideal.
Yeah, and then I think the other one that obviously I'm watching quite closely, being a Pats fan, is what's going to happen with Jimmy G. Now, we know that the 49ers had the third pick, which puts them in prime spot for a quarterback. Now, I mean, that poses the question, is Jimmy G surplus to requirements? I think the 49ers, in all honesty, will probably end up trading Jimmy G at some point this season. But I don't think it'll happen before the draft. And I think they would be stupid to do it before the draft. I mean, Jimmy G's, he's still not quite a proven quarterback. Yes, he's been to a Super Bowl. But, I mean, he wasn't the deciding factor in getting to the Super Bowl. It was all about the run game at that point. But I think, as we've all said, Jimmy G gives them the best option to win right now. And I think no matter who you draft, I don't think the quarterback they draft won't be a quarterback that will lead them to a Super Bowl this year. So,
exactly, man. Yeah. And it's just being pragmatic, right? Not to give up Jimmy G now and put your eggs in one basket. The quarterback you draft could be rubbish. Yeah. So all you're doing is evaluating. You don't know what he's going to be like until he's in camp. Whether it's Mac Jones, Trey Lance, Justin Fields, whoever they might go with. But I do like checking out some of their videos that they've done. I do like Justin Fields and his videos that he's done and his athleticism and his arm. But apparently he slid down the bloody picking order.
Yeah.
From going from about second to third, now he's about 10th. So maybe the Pats would just pick him up in the draft.
Possibly.
Mate, it's like, Bill's done it again. Bill has done it again. But it'll be interesting, DA. We've talked about Pat's cap room. And I'm only presuming here, I don't know if you know, but do they have a lot of picks available as well? They could pay Jimmy G, take his contract. I suppose the big thing for the 49ers is the contract, isn't it? If the Pats can take the the 30 million of Jimmy G, then that's a huge win for them as well. Because they get to restart again with the quarterback, a rookie QB, reinforce their defense and improve in their offense if they have to. So I suppose it's a win-win. It's not like you're going to take the contract and give them 2 first rounders, for 22 and 23 or something. Maybe, but it's good to hear about you, Pat. But it is odd having the Cowboys out of the news, mate. So to get our Cowboys tea back rolling, my bro. Mate, by all accounts, the Cowboys are going fine. We've got no news. Dak signed. We picked up a few good pieces in free agency. We are running hot. Hot. Mate, this is our year. Maybe I jumped too soon on the Bucks wagon. Woo-wee.
It's not going to happen. Okay, Rob. So, other talking points at the moment. Obviously, it looks like Gonzaga could go undefeated if they beat Baylor in the NCAA championship, which would be an incredible feat. I mean, I think the most recent team to have done that was Kentucky back in the early 2000s.
Unreal.
Now, we've seen that Stanford just won the ladies' championship, their first championship since '92, which is brilliant for the organization. I think this NCAA tournament, both the men's and the women, has gone pretty well. I mean, we had the early upsets there, which always makes for an exciting tournament. But at the end of the day, you've got the number 1 seeds going head-to-head in the final. And it's what everyone...
The big boys, the cream's risen to the top, babe.
Yeah.
The cream's risen to the top on this occasion.
Exactly. And I think that's the beauty of this tournament, is that you've got the Cinderella stories, but you've also got just dominant teams who at the end of the day, they make it there. So the reason I say that is the NBA. We've got a lot of players out injured at the moment. LeBron AD is still out. KD's out. There are some other Nets injuries that we're hearing. I mean, does this ultimately affect how and who will win the NBA championship at this point in the season, where there's still 30 games to go before we get to playoffs?
I think it has to play a part of the team's chemistry, surely.
Mhm.
And you know what you get, DA, is how much of these teams are just downplaying how serious some of these injuries are, just to say mentally fresh. You know,
Yeah.
it's a thought that's just come through. Like you mentioned previously to this, like KD's injury. You know, he's got a decent leg injury as well. How long is he going to take out? Is he going to come back, or is he just, you know, if the thought of KD still being available, is that enough of a dagger to put other teams off, or, you know, to not inspire other teams to say that they could beat the Nets? And they're like, man, KD's just going to come back for finals. It doesn't exactly give you a boost, does it? When they've got KD, Harden, Kyrie, Aldridge, Griffin.
Yeah.
Yes, guys, that is their front five.
Yeah.
That is their starting five.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
then likewise with AD and LeBron James as well. If the population heard that AD wasn't going to come back, he's actually torn his he's torn his Achilles, or he's torn his hamstring, and he's not going to come back for the year. How debilitating would that be for the actual competition?
Yeah.
We know the Lakers actually couldn't compete. Like anyone
Yeah.
could compete. All these players are sitting as well. You got so many players who are sitting out so many games.
Yeah.
I know the Nets just got upset last night, or the Lakers are clearly short. Charlotte just got done. Oi, you Celtics though. You know, they were rolling against them, mate. They were rolling, mate. You feeling pretty happy? You back on track?
We're on a run. This is the start of something big. Yeah.
Do you just want to sit in the playoff, the play-in zone? Just sit there, mate. All you got to do is sit 7 to 10, and you can play in.
The Celtics will finish sixth, I reckon. Celtics will finish sixth. But no, I'm excited. As I said, I'm excited for the playoffs and looking forward to those rolling around. So, I mean, that's when you see the best basketball come up.
No, that's the only time the teams actually play.
Yeah. And
the rest is just young bucks running the floor.
Talking about playoffs, we've just finished the CrossFit Open, and now we move this week into the quarterfinals. So Jeffrey Adler and Tia Claire Toomey are the unofficial winners of the Open. And so now you've got the top 10% of every region competing in quarterfinals. And that's an online competition that will be coming up this weekend, the 6th, 7th. I think it's the 8th of April through to the 11th of April. It's Thursday to Monday.
Will it be the same thing? Will it be like an announcement, a quarterfinal announcement? And is that how that works, or how does it work?
So they'll release to all the athletes, from my understanding, they'll release from Thursday Pacific Standard Time. You'll have a workout, and you have 24 hours to complete that.
24 hours this time. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you'll have another 24-hour block. You'll get another, at the end of that first block, you'll get another workout, and you'll have another 24 hours to do that. And that's it. So I think there's about 4 workouts that they have to do over the weekend, and have those submitted online. And then CrossFit will put out.
Sorry, DA. It's not just one workout and they get to redo that workout for a better time. It's multiple workouts.
Yeah, I believe there's 4 workouts over the weekend.
Okay. So Thursday, they'll drop the first one. You do it by Friday. Drop another one. Drop another. Oh, okay. I'm with you.
I think it's all finished by. I think it's Sunday. Midnight. I think it's the close off Pacific Standard Time. I could be wrong, but I'm excited to see that, and I think that's where we will really see some of those top tier athletes just pushing it. So,
well, like you said, I know you've listened to it as well. It was the Joe Rogan podcast with Maddie Fraser and that. And now it makes sense hearing that kind of layout, how he works into a competition. You know, you're sort of just chilling, doing what you need to do in the Open, getting your match fitness up. Then you ride into the quarterfinals, and if it is this 3 to 4 workouts on a weekend, where you're just really ramping up your activity as you push through into the semis, and then you get the call up for actual finals itself. Okay, that'll makes a lot of sense, because it is over a long time period. Like, you got a month worth of competition here already, from the Open to the quarterfinals.
Yeah,
and then I presume there's a little bit of a break before the semis.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. The semis are only a month out before the actual games.
Yeah.
So, but yeah. So Rob,
Exciting.
I mean that's number 2 in the Cheerios run done. What was your take on the apple cinnamon Cheerios?
Yeah, I reckon I had more flavor from the dry test than anything.
Yeah,
Once I actually integrated the milk, I was having a bowl of Cheerios Original from my
yeah.
initial take. Didn't get much of a milk satch as well. I felt a few of the cinnamon flakes, but overall for me, mate, I'll give it a 6.
Okay. Yeah,
I think it does. The squealy puts me down. Not a bad knock on Cheerios, but it does what it says on the box. It feels
yeah,
like a reasonably healthy cereal. Cheerios is like a decent start you could have most days. And
yeah,
then this is all right. So 6 is my zone, I think, for these bad boys.
yeah. I'm not going to disagree with you at all. Except I'm going to give it slightly higher. I'll give it a 6.5. And now when I would I take this over a box of Cocoa Pops? Yes. But
Come
I
on,
think
please. I've got 6.5 on Cocoa Pops, mate. Get out of here.
I think what this does is it provides. I wouldn't probably have another bowl per se. I would put this in little pouches and have it as a snack throughout the day without milk. That's
Not a
how I
bad
would eat it.
shout. Not a bad shout, to be
So,
fair. That isn't
um,
bad at all, mate.
I think the milk saturation there's nothing there. What's left in my bowl is just a little bit of milk, and I'm not too keen to drink it because it doesn't really taste too much.
It's got your cinnamon flakes in there, mate. That's
Yeah.
that's happening in there.
So no, I mean, yeah, 6.5 for me. But I'm looking forward to trying. I mean, we've still got blueberry, we've still got mixed fruit to go.
What
I'm,
entices you the most out of those guys? Blueberry or mixed fruit?
well, I love blueberries, so I'm going to have to say blueberries. And I'm hoping that the mixed fruit will just be like
Oh
fruit,
God!
but
Don't let
should
that
be.
lead you down a rabbit hole. I love blueberries, but that doesn't taste like blueberries. I can hear you saying that now. Uh oh. It'd be like your blueberry muffin at muffin break. Oh dear.
Fair call. Yeah, so that is our review of the apple cinnamon Cheerios. Good, but not amazing.
All right, thanks, team. Thanks for joining us on this episode. If you like this episode, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button, hit that turn on your notifications so you can see when the next episode drops. And the next episode we'll be smashing through the blueberry Cheerios, and I'll be looking to get these out of the 6 zone because everything about Cheerios is reasonably healthy. A lot of sugar, reasonably healthy, but it feels like you can eat it every day. Always catch up with the hottest topics in sports, whether it's NFL, NBA, and there's always going to be sure to be more that comes on line, especially as we get through Easter. NBA heats up, and then we're on. Cheerio.
Every time. I love that.